Well, hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Rachel if you're new around here, and today we're talking about the Instant Pot. Now I'm gonna share with you my 5 favorite things to still make in here 2 years later. I've had this thing for over 2 years now, and there's still things that I love to make in here. And today I'm gonna share with you my top 5. First one that we're gonna make, it's not a time saver, but that's not the only reason to use your Instant Pot. It's not really instant, I'm just gonna put that out there. But one of my favorite things to do in here is brown rice. So I'm just gonna open up my lid and pour in my water while I talk with you guys. The reason why I love to do this in the Instant Pot is because it won't boil over. And I have a problem with that on the stove. I get doing stuff and before I know it, my rice is boiling over. So I put 3 cups of water in my Instant Pot. My Instant Pot is an 8-quart Instant Pot. Works great for our family of 5. To that 3 cups of water, I'm gonna do 2 cups of brown rice. I'm gonna pop my lid on here, turn it to sealing, make sure you plug it in. I've done that a couple times, but thankfully it tells you. I'm gonna do manual high pressure for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna let it do a natural pressure release, which means I don't mess with this nozzle, at least 30 minutes. It'll tell you the time right here on your front screen. I let it do 30 minutes, and then if there's anything left, I release the valve. All right, it went a little bit over. It's 32 minutes now, but we're just gonna release this. And see, there's hardly anything left in here. So I just hit cancel, it turns it off. I'm gonna unplug it because I'm done with it for a minute. We're gonna lift this up. Be careful because it will be hot and steamy. It's important to go in with a fork to fluff your rice. Don't wanna use a spoon, so try to use a fork. But look at how perfectly cooked this rice is. There's no water left in the bottom. It's nice and fluffy. I hope you guys will give this one a try. All right guys, the second thing, I think my favorite thing to cook in this Instant Pot is a whole frozen chicken. We raise chickens ourselves every summer. My husband raises them, butchers them, all that, and I like to bag them up in a freezer gallon bag. So I never really think about thawing them out the night before when I need one. So here we have just a completely frozen, right out of the freezer chicken. Now if your bag has a little bit of a hard time coming off your chicken, you can run it under some cold water if you need to, but that popped right out. I'm gonna add in 2 cups of water because in the bottom of this chicken, once it's cooked, it's gonna make this luscious chicken broth, which is just divine. So we're gonna put that in. So it's just our chicken and our water. You could add spices if you want to, but my favorite way to use this chicken is in a bunch of different recipes throughout the week. So I like to keep it nice and plain and add my own seasoning, spices, when I make it for dinner that night. So what I like to do is I do manual high pressure and I do 75 minutes. Make sure you are on sealing. I made that mistake one time not to have the seal inside your lid, and all of a sudden all this steam was coming out from around it and I was like, what did I do wrong? So just a little tip, I've done it before. So we're gonna let this sit for that 75 minutes, and once that timer is done, you can do a quick release. Now doing it this long, this chicken falls apart. I mean, the bones, it falls completely apart. And I'm okay with dealing with that. So if you don't like to deal with like the bones and everything like that, maybe you could come back a little bit on the time. But I know for me, this is perfect. It makes a beautiful broth. All those bones it's like pulled all those nutrients out of the bones. Like the bones almost just disintegrate. All right, my timer just went off and it switches automatically to warm. Now I'm gonna vent it. Be careful, this part is hot. All right, my pin just dropped down. That means that it is safe to open my lid. All right, now it doesn't look pretty at all. It is completely fallen apart. This is actually the back of the chicken and the front is on the other side. But I am going to pick this chicken off the bone. I'm gonna discard the bones and keep this lovely broth. You could use this for soups, stews, any recipe that calls for chicken broth. You could use this. So do not throw away your juice in here. It is precious. And look at this beautiful chicken. I picked it all off of the bone. This will be ready for a couple different dinners. You can use this chicken like you would a rotisserie chicken that you can buy at the store. I've turned this into chicken salad before. Tonight we're gonna use this in chicken curry. There is just an endless possibility of ways to use this chicken. All right, we're on to number 3. Next, we're gonna need just 1 cup of water. We're gonna pour this in the bottom of our Instant Pot. And then you're gonna put in your trivet. My trivet looks like this that came with my Instant Pot. Some of them had handles or something. They're different designs, but it's basically the same thing. We are going to cook up some hard-boiled eggs. We raise our own chickens here on the homestead for eggs, and those eggs are so fresh, they're hard to cook and like peel. The shell just sticks right to the eggs because they're so fresh. And so I have found the Instant Pot is the only way I can effectively peel those fresh eggs. Now, sadly, because we are in winter, we don't have a bunch of our own homegrown eggs, so we are gonna use store-bought. It works just as well with store-bought eggs as it does with farm fresh eggs, and we're just gonna put these in our Instant Pot. Now, you could do a couple, or you could do like 2 dozen. I've done a bunch at one time. I've done a few. It works great either way. And you don't even have to increase the cooking time. It's all about the pressurization of your Instant Pot. So today I'm just gonna do 5. That sounds good. We've got our water, and we also have the eggs up on top of our trivet. We're gonna put our lid on, close it, make sure you are on sealing. And I love to do the 5-5-5 method. So we're just gonna do manual for 5 minutes. On high pressure. I love the 5-5-5 because it's honestly easy to remember. So we'll let it go for 5 minutes. All right, so the first 5 minutes has finished, and now it's on warm. And now we're waiting for this number to count back up to 5. All right, now it's done the 5 minutes. I'm going to release the pressure. I have a bowl of ice water just sitting right here. I'm going to turn this off so it won't keep it warm anymore. And we're gonna put our hot eggs into our cold water. We're gonna try to bring down the temperature of them as quickly as we possibly can. Now we're gonna let these sit in there for at least 5 minutes, if not longer. All right, my eggs are nice and cool. I like to put down a couple paper towels, just kind of give them a whack and roll them. Kind of use the side of my thumb and just give it a nice peel. And look at how beautiful they come off. I dunk it back in, get any of those last little shells off. Isn't that perfect? I mean, there's one little divot out, but pretty much perfect. Let me show you one more time. That one just like slid right out. Wow. That is awesome. Another rinse, and there we go. All right, my 4th thing to make in this Instant Pot today is probably my 2nd favorite thing to make, and that is using dried beans. I've done black beans and garbanzo beans, but today we are going to do pinto beans. I buy them in a big 50-pound bag from like Costco, or even Walmart sells them like in 20-pound bags, and then we just store them in containers. So let's dump out however many we want to do. I'm gonna shoot for around a pound. And then how I was taught to look at beans is I like to just look through them. I'm trying to make sure there's no rocks in them, which I actually have found rocks several times. So, and nobody wants to eat a rock. So I just go through these and make sure there's no rocks, and that none look gross or anything like that. Because it's kind of interesting how beans, can you guys see what's right here? Look at that. I just found a rock. See, this is why we go through them. Anyway, it's interesting how these are grown. They're just like a traditional like green bean growing. They grow in like a green bean looking thing, but they let them dry out and they like pop open. And so sometimes rocks, I found another one, can be in the beans. And so that's why it's a really good idea to sort through your beans. And we're also gonna give them a really good rinse here in just a second. Okay, so you guys can totally soak your beans overnight if you want to, but I just don't normally have the forethought to do so. Okay, I'm just gonna give these a thorough wash. And I like to go at least an inch, probably more like 2 to 3 inches above my beans to give them adequate enough water to cook in. All right, now my beans and water are in there. I'm gonna put my lid on. Put it on sealing. I'm gonna go manual, high pressure for 45 minutes. Now I'm gonna let these do a quick release. You could let them go longer if you want to, but this way, cooking them for 45 minutes is going to make them really nice and soft, very like mushable. You can go a lot less, like in the 35 to 40 range if you want them to be a firmer bean. But what I found for our family is we like them in the softer way, and we even like to turn them into like homemade refried beans. So we prefer to do it a little bit longer than normal, I guess. We're gonna do a quick release. All right, my pin dropped down. Be careful, all that steam, it's gonna be hot. I'm gonna turn it off now. Look how lovely these are. What I like to do is dump off some of this water and then mash them with an immersion blender right here in this pot. I've even used them like this in nachos, different soups or stews, or my kids love bean and cheese burritos, so I really hope you guys will give this one a try. All right, guys, my fifth and favorite thing to make in my Instant Pot is homemade vanilla extract. Now it looks a little light because of the light behind me, but this is so wonderful and a lot less expensive if you make it yourself. I did an entire video just dedicated to making homemade vanilla extract in your Instant Pot, and I will leave a link to it up above in the iCards and down below in the description box. So I'm not gonna remake it for you right now, but you guys are welcome to check out that video if you want to see how to make your own homemade extract on the cheap. All right, guys, so those are my 5 favorite things to make in my Instant Pot. Still 2 years later after owning it, these are my go-tos all the time. Let me know down in the comments below, what are your favorite things to make in the Instant Pot? Are some of these the same as mine? I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. We'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye now.